Okay, so we're back with Ventures Level 2. This is for Monday, June the 1st, and this is our part 2. We're still covering Unit 9 on daily living. And here's all of my contact information. In part 1, I asked you to write a letter or email of complaint. If you want, you can email it to me at angelamonroe1@gmail.com, and I will look over it and review it and get back with you for any and all corrections that could be made. Also, I don't think I said at the end of the last video, be sure you're putting your name in the comments to get credit for having viewed the video and attended class. Okay, so I left up the email that we covered on part 1, and this was my email. Dear Mr. Betcher, I am a tenant at 3914 5th Street. I am writing to you about problems in my apartment. In my apartment, the carpet is stained and the window is broken. Could you please send a repair person to fix these immediately? I can be reached at 713-555-1944. If you have any questions or would like to set up a time for the repairs. Thank you for your attention to these issues. Angela Monroe, apartment 4B. Okay, so this is not part of the email, by the way. This is some questions we're going to talk about with the email. What are my problems? What were my problems? If we go back up here, the problems were the carpet is stained, and the window was broken. Okay? Okay, who is my email to? Who did I write the email to? We look up here, and this would be on an email, so we see Derek Betcher, right? Okay, when you are sending an email to someone, you're usually going to send it to either the owner, the landlord, or the property manager. I mean, you should get all that information when you start renting a place. So that's who you would want to send that email to. Now, let's go back up. Is there a subject to my email? The subject of my email, what the whole thing is about, is apartment problems. Does my email have a subject? Yes. The subject is apartment problems. Okay, so when you write your email, what were your problems? What were the problems that you're having at your apartment? Who was your email to? Who did you address the email to? Was it the property manager? Was it the landlord? And did you put a subject in the email, in the subject line? Okay? So you can answer those questions about your own email also. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and erase these so we can talk about something different. Okay, so now I want to talk about, now that we've talked about a complaint email, when would we send a complaint email? What are some things that could happen that we would send a complaint email? If you're having, let's see, obviously we saw some emails about problems in apartments or rental properties. Because if you're renting, you probably need to let them know if you're having issues, because they will most likely be taking care of those issues. You won't have to hire somebody to do that. They will have somebody that can take care of a lot of that for you. Okay? Because it's probably, a lot of times it's, you don't own the refrigerator, you don't own the washer and dryer. They came with the apartment, they belong to the property owner, so they're going to have those things fixed. When are some other times you might want to write a letter of complaint? What about to a neighbor? Like I think the HOA where I live had to write some letters of complaint to neighbors because they were letting their dogs poop on the sidewalk and not cleaning up. So if you have, or if a dog's barking, or if a neighbor may be parking in front of your house and you blocking your driveway, or maybe they're playing music too late at night, those are some instances you might want to write a complaint to a neighbor. What about to a delivery company? Okay, so let's say a delivery company delivered something and it went to the wrong address, or it didn't come when it was supposed to, it was late, or they left it in a place where the item got damaged. Those are times you might want to write to a delivery company. Also, you might to companies in general, like if you let's see. Okay, let's just use Walmart or Target or Amazon. Any of those. Let's say you bought something at Walmart or Target or on Amazon, and the item came, but let's say it was damaged, or it didn't work, or that the delivery took too long. You might want to write a letter of complaint to a company. Say you ordered a TV from Walmart and the TV came and the glass was cracked, the screen was cracked. Or say you ordered something from Amazon and it wouldn't work. Or say you ordered clothes from Target and they didn't send the right item or the right size. Though, anytime you order something or you buy something and it doesn't come as expected, and maybe this has happened before, you might want to write a letter of complaint. What about billing and credit card statements? Okay, so let's say at the end of the month you get your credit card bill and there's some charges that you did not make. You may want to dispute them by writing a letter of complaint to the credit card companies saying, I didn't make those purchases, and letting them know that you need a refund, right? So usually they'll have that on their site where you can dispute claims, but let's say that the person handling your claim was rude or didn't go didn't take care of it like you thought it should be. You might also want to make a letter of complaint, okay? To your job. right? Hopefully this doesn't happen, but sometimes employees have to write letters of complaint about other employees at work. It could be that they're rude, or that they're constantly late, or they're lazy, or it could be sexual harassment, or it could be about your employer. So sometimes we do have to write letters of complaint, maybe about the place that we work. So these are all places. Now, the ones we've been doing were all about apartments, and they went to landlords or apartment managers. But these are all different places that we can write a letter of complaint to. These are just some more examples, okay? So let's go ahead and get out your student book and turn to page 120. All right, so the objectives today we're going to introduce a customer invoice for repairs and services. We're going to learn how to read that and know what it means. And we're going to look at let's and let's not, okay? So right now we're on we're in the student book, I'm sorry. Student book, page 120. That's where we're going to start today. And these are the things I would like to cover during the rest of this video. So if you look on page 20, a invoice is like a bill. It's going to have everything listed of the work that they did. It's going to have the price of each thing, whether it be the labor or a part. And then it will show how much that is, your tax and your total. So like if you go and have your car worked on, your invoice will list how the part, and it will list like the charge for the labor. Usually it's by the hour, so it'll say like 2.5 hours of labor, or it might, or anything like that, and then it will give you your total and how much you paid for it. So let's look at page 120, and we see A+ plumbing repairs. Now this is a invoice for some plumbing work, right? So go ahead and do part A, answer those 4 questions, and then come back and we will go over them together. Okay, so we're on part A. So number 1 says, part A, read the questions and look at the invoice and fill in the answers. So what was leaking? So we look up in the description and we see shower leaking. So the answer is B, shower. The shower was leaking. All right. Sorry guys, my nose is running. I've been outside. Okay, number 2. Which repair was the most expensive? Most expensive, which one costs the most? But expensive means cost the most. So I'll get that up here for a vocabulary word. Cost the most. So expensive, cost the most money. So number 2, we see the clogged sink is $55. We see the shower leaking is $45. But we see the toilet overflowed at $95. So the answer is going to be C, the toilet leaking was the most expensive, because $95 is more than $55 and $45. So let's move on to number 3. How much was the subtotal? So let me try to make this bigger. Hold on. If we look right, let me see. Right here, we're going to see the subtotal. That means all of this up to that point is added up, right? So what's the subtotal? The subtotal is 195. So we see the answer C, $195. And the last one, number 4. What is another word on the form for bill? So what's another word for bill? We talked about it right before we started, and that's invoice, and that's what this is. An invoice itemizes everything, and itemize means list, okay? So what's another word for bill? Is invoice. So A is your answer for that one. Okay, so what I would like for you to do is just, you might want to jot these vocabulary words down and what they mean, and make any corrections on part A, okay? Okay, now we're going to go to part B. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Solve the problem. Which solution is best? And circle your opinion. Here's the problem. A plus plumbing fixed Victor's bathroom and shower on March the 17th. On March the 31st, the same shower leaked again. What should Victor do? Number 1, call for a new plumber because A plus did a bad job. 2, fix the shower himself. Or 3, call the same plumber. The work is guaranteed. Or number 4, something different. Well, let's go through each of those individually. Call a new plumber. A plus did a bad job. Well, we don't know that they did a bad job. The leak could be somewhere different. And plus, if we've already paid them, the chances that they might come out and do the repair for free are pretty high. So I would want to give them another chance to either fix the new leak or repair the one that didn't get repaired before, my opinion. Number 2, fix the shower himself. I'm going to say no. Because if he could, he probably wouldn't have called a plumber to begin with. I'm guessing that this is something that he may need help with. And number 3, call the same plumber. The work is guaranteed. I would go with that. I would call the same plumber because if the work is guaranteed, you're not going to have to pay again. They're going to come out and redo it. For example, let's see. At the beginning of April, my air conditioner broke. And I called, and they came out and fixed it. Less than a month later, my air conditioner broke a second time. So I called that company to come back, and they tested, and there was a leak in my unit, but they didn't charge me because they had worked on it previously. So I saved money by letting them come back out. So unless they did damage or something, or unless you don't feel comfortable having them back because you don't think that they did a good job, I would always give the company that repaired it first to come back, because chances are you're not going to get charged and it's going to save you money. Okay, so that's the end of our video for today. Remember, I'm going to make myself tiny again. And that letter you were supposed to write on the last video, please send it to my email so I can check it and get back with you. Also, if you are not in my class, you are welcome to send in questions about any of that to me, because I know that there are some people not in my class that are viewing these. Just send it here, because I know you're not on my WhatsApp. That's only people that are actually enrolled in my class. But anybody can send me something to Gmail and I will get back with you, okay? just in the subject line, like we talked about in the other emails, you may want to write English class. So I know what it is. Okay? So go ahead and put your name at the bottom in the comment section to get credit. And I'll see you back in a couple minutes for part 3.